Man's Best Friend. I've just finished. I have so many thoughts. Let's get into it.
I love Sabrina Carpenter down, but I'm not feeling the album. I'm really not.
I hate this album. It's a very common response at this point when an album first comes out.
I am so glad that there are people hating on Sabrina Carpenter's new album, Man's Best Friend.
There was a lot of tisk, 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 and oh my. Yeah, tisk, 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 and oh my.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to their reaction?
Like, y'all need to get out more.
I don't get it, because first y'all wanted pop music to be fun again, and then a fun album comes out and it's, oh, the political climate.
In an effort to decenter men, you have lost all nuance of what it means to be a straight woman and understanding that, yes, you're an individual person and that you exist outside of relationships with men, and also wanting to sleep with and be in relationships with men. Like, they're not mutually exclusive.
The first day numbers for Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend prove that the hate is not only forced, but it is driving the streams.
Sabrina Carpenter just released her new album, Man's Best Friend, and I've given myself a couple days to finally absorb all of it and give you my thoughts. There's a lot of discussion going on about how people are absorbing music, and also a lot of people are just saying that this album is bad.
Stop the think piece, babes. Just listen to the music.
So I'm going to go track by track, let you know what I think about the album. We're going to hear from Sabrina herself.
I'm so used to writing bitter songs, and this one felt like being bitter but with a lot of sweetness. It's all just said with a wink. It's said with like a pat on the back. I think that is the way that I communicate.
There has been mixed reviews on this album, and a lot of people are claiming that they didn't like it upon first listen.
I sometimes find it a little bit insulting. Feels like we're getting a little loosey-goosey with what the idea of an album is, and people are dropping stuff just knowing that it'll be bought.
I hate to break it to you, but Sabrina Carpenter isn't going anywhere yet. I think anyone saying that her album was a flop or that they didn't like it is missing the point of the album. It's barely a year after Short and Sweet has been released. I'm not sure what anyone was expecting from this album. It was never going to be anything revolutionary or some huge pivot. To me, I've just kind of seen the album as an extension of Short and Sweet. I've kind of looked at this as, hey, don't forget about me. I'm Sabrina. She just understands that being mysterious does not build interest anymore. Now we have TikTok where you can get new content every 5 seconds. And I've said this for a while, you cannot do the traditional pop star rollout anymore. If you disappear, people kind of just forget about you. She's got the momentum from Short and Sweet, so why not use it and just put something out there?
First, I just want to let you guys know, I am late to Sabrina Carpenter's music. I was not paying attention at first until she won the Grammy for Short and Sweet. Her espresso, it just wasn't technically my style. I started listening to her a little bit more. I just found her a little bit more interesting than the other upcoming pop girls, and I really love her songwriting, and she knows how to make songs that are earworms. I wrote a lot of notes while I was listening to it, so I'm going to be reading a little bit on my phone. When I first pressed play, I said, if you're going into this album thinking this is Short and Sweet 2.0, then you're going to be easily disappointed because this album is extremely different.
So I gotta keep it real. Short and Sweet, Sab, like, definitely was like winding up a fist. Man's Best Friend, Sab, is sort of like harnessing that anger and turning it into something a little bit more mature.
I believe that this album is a concept album, which is very clear because when she first shown us the album cover.
When people first saw the cover of Man's Best Friend, there was a lot of tisk, 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 and oh my. Yeah, tisk, 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 and oh my. What's your interpretation?
My
That's
interpretation is being in on the control, being in on your lack of control and when you want to be in control. Like, I think as a young woman, you're just as aware of when you're in control as when you're not. And I think some of those are choices. And I think for me, this whole album was about the humanity of allowing yourself to make those mistakes, knowing when you're, putting yourself in a situation that will probably end up poorly.
She really was able to capitalize off what they call rage bait, and I thought that that was very smart. I love the title of the album being called Man's Best Friend, and when I'm listening to this album, I have to remember the title. The second thing I said is, this album may be a grower for you on the first listen, but when you listen to this one, don't hear the music, listen to her lyrics.
A year ago, Short and Sweet debuted with 57.3 million streams on Spotify in its first day. This makes sense because at the time, Sabrina was our newest main pop girl and had 2 smash hits leading into the album, Espresso and Please Please Please. Now, I was not expecting Man's Best Friend to debut with more streams than Short and Sweet did because of the fact that Man's Best Friend only had 1 pre-release single, which was Man Child, and even though it was a #1 hit, it wasn't as big of a hit as Espresso. espresso and please, please, please. But Man's Best Friend ended up debuting with 64.4 million streams on Spotify. All songs from the album are charting in the top 20 on global Spotify, with Tears at #1 with over 9 million streams just in one day.
So let's go through the tracks. I will argue this, I don't know, until I'm blue in the face. Man Child is the most important song on this album. Yes, it being the lead single and the first song on the album gives the whole entire body of work context, because the guy or guys that you think she's singing about throughout the album doesn't make sense if this song wasn't on it. I believe it really is the heartbeat of the album, because this is where the story is born. In this album, there's a theme about family that is really holding the album together. And going back to the theme of Man's Best Friend.
So this is my best friend. I just wanted to show him off because he's really cool, really awesome. He makes my life better and I love him a lot.
Obviously, she's talking about a dog, and she is on all fours, and I don't think she means it literally of either her being a dog. I think she also poetically uses the image of like a man's best friend being a dog, and kind of assumes a character like a dog. But you know, dogs are very affectionate, a little bit too affectionate, and you kind of get that throughout the album, how she wants to be affectionate and how she almost sort of like licks her wounds a little bit throughout the album.
Okay, so when Sabrina released Man's Best Friend, she released a letter with it. So she says, "This album reflects how unfortunately human it feels to experience love and loss. On top of the world one second, humbled the next, emotionally pulled by a leash and begging for treats." And then in brackets, she has treats being the bare minimum. The amount of backlash she got for this album cover is insane, saying it was degrading and setting back women. And if you actually waited for the album to come out and use your head, listen to the album all the way through, it makes sense. She didn't just get on her knees and get her hair pulled by a guy because it was funny. It obviously meant something, and you wouldn't understand that until you listen to the album.
The song that also came out today, Tears, it's very visual, but the thing that I think is really fun is the video.
I wrote that Tears is a dance record that has the sexiness that will be missed from a breakup. Oh, and I must say this album, Man's Best Friend, is a breakup album. I don't know if people have gotten that from listening to this. One of the lyrics that really stand out, "I get wet at the thought of you." And so I said she's remembering what made her physically excited versus thinking of a new love interest. This is what's really unclear for me in the album, and I kind of like how it's unclear. It kind of changes the more that I listen to some of the songs. In this part, I'm not really sure if the breakup has happened or it's happening, because I kind of know for sure later in the track list when I believe the breakup is over.
Like Tears, it reminded me of something Jessie Ware would have released. I was like, have I heard this before? But I haven't. I couldn't hear the lyrics. I was like, girl, these are tongue-in-cheek lyrics. But it felt like there was a pop filter or something that was, it's like in the studio they went, and then never turned it quite down.
This is where it starts to turn for me. My Man on Willpower. I think this song is very clever. I said a song that starts to define what may have gone wrong with the relationship. What I love about this song specifically is she describes the contemporary dude right now. She's describing how like this guy wants to work on himself, and she fell in love with a guy who was a little bit sloppy. He didn't have as much self-restraint. You're kind of changing into this guy that's like supposed to improve himself, but she doesn't really know if she likes that, and it's starting to become a problem. And I also said the guy she's describing is the habitual podcast listener, the gym bro, maybe like the semen retention guy, and the self-help junkie. Like this guy is addicted to trying to improve himself, and she's also like, remember, you used to be addicted to me. And so I thought that was really kind of really cool to hear. If you're dating right now, you might be dealing with that kind of guy.
I love Sabrina Carpenter down, but I'm not feeling the album. I'm really not. And it kind of sounds a little bit rushed. And I feel like it probably was, since Short and Sweet came out last year. Like, it's been a year since Short and Sweet came out. I'm not feeling like, and some of the songs, they sound the same. Some of them, not all of them. Also a lot of country on it.
I do like how the country in this album is used on purpose. She uses country to share a specific emotion. Next is Sugar Talking. I like how that it's kind of more country leaning. If she used the word sweet talking, it just didn't poetically match. And she does always kind of have this sort of food motif throughout her brand. I also said he's more romantic and less transactional now. She also says, put your loving where your mouth is. This song is really, really poetic. I feel like this song is showing her frustration.
I am so glad that there are people hating on Sabrina Carpenter's new album, Man's Best Friend. And since y'all be hating on it, I don't want to see anyone in that damn Ticketmaster queue. None of y'all. Because for the rest of us that love her and love her music and understand her humor and her sarcasm, we'll be able to get freaking tickets for this next tour.
So next, we almost broke up again. The opening line is very important. A lot of the first lines in this album are very, very important. So I wrote, is this where the relationship is officially ending or at the point where it's falling apart, but they can't let go of each other physically? I thought when I first heard this is we either broke up, we got back together. The second way I said, is this a part where they just have these disagreements and then they say they break up or they need to be away from each other, but then they come together again and then they have an intimate moment together. And then when they're away, they're kind of like, okay, we almost broke up. My question as a listener, y'all break up at all? We need to talk about Nobody's Son. Nobody's Son is one of those songs that is very, 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 very memorable. At first listen, and how I feel about this song and why I like it is it's kind of self-deprecating and the production to the song is very confusing. Da, 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 da. It's kind of like she's going la 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 la, and I like that visually with the storytelling of the album. And she brings back the family motif again. She's like, moms, it's not looking good for me. So I like how she accepts where she's at in the story.
Well, the titles stand out to me. It's one of the rare albums that I heard the title and I thought, I want to hear this song. I'll name the title.
Okay, I'll take my
and
favorite.
Then you tell me your favorite line out of it.
Okay.
Never Getting Laid.
That one is, I just hope you get agoraphobia one day and all your days are sunny from your window pane. Wish you a lifetime full of happiness and a forever of never getting laid.
We're at never getting laid. She's trying to be mature here because I wrote, it's over for us, but I hope you never get laid because you've been working so much on yourself to the point where you're becoming a little bit unattractive. But also I feel like she's a little bit angry, a little bit frustrated, and also kind of wishing and kind of like trying to put like a curse on him. And I love in the production, there's like the fan clacking that's going, da na na da da na da na 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 na, and it's like clack. It's like sounds like a whip a little bit, and I like that because it adds a little bit more of a like emotional texture. And then she makes fun of him being abstinent because remember, she's basically saying, yeah, you're trying to be this sort of podcast self-help junkie dude. There's going to be a day you're going to have to use your hand. This next song, When Did You Get Hot? This is when it gets back to that sort of poppy sound. This song confirms the breakup is over and she's starting to browse guys either she's known before and look at how they've improved. Maybe she's scrolling through social media and she's like, I talked to person A, years ago. Wow, he got really hot. I found this song also very contradictory because she's saying, when did you get so hot from this guy that she may have known before? She didn't want the guy she was with to be changing as quickly and as dramatic as he was, yet she's okay with someone else doing it who she used to know. I thought that was a little contradictory. Go-Go Juice. Go-Go Juice is one of those songs where you know for sure you are deep in a breakup when you just want to go have fun and you don't care what happens that night. She wants to recreationally get over him through drinking and look for a hookup. And that means someone new at the bar or an old friend. So remember, before that, she kind of talks about when did you get so hot? So that could be that old friend or someone she used to know. But now she's getting drunk. So she's like, I might even just call them. I have the courage, the liquid courage. But I also love how in Go-Go Juice, this is the first time we get to hear other voices in the album. You hear sort of, camaraderie, which that is her word, shows that she Also, even though this is a breakup album, she's starting to connect with people again. Ooh, this next song, Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry, is honestly my favorite track of the album. It reminds me of a song that Lana Del Rey would write. The way that she sings and how poetic it is. I said this. She opens this song with, "You think that I'm going to mess with your head? Well, you're absolutely right." It's very blunt and very like direct. You think I'm going to mess with you? But you're right, I am. And I love how she's very honest at this point in the breakup. I'm open to someone new right now. I'm just gonna be honest. You're gonna be protecting yourself, hoping that I don't do what you don't want me to do, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And it's kind of hypnotizing a little bit. This song is sang in like a lullaby, like it swings. Dun, 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 dun. Don't worry about it. You know, that girl that's going to break your heart, I'm going to be that girl that's going to break your heart. Another defining moment for me in the album. We have 2 more songs in the album, and that is House Tour. I think this song is the moment where she's celebrating being single now and wants to have fun. I made that statement a little bit with Go-Go Juice. House Tour is more of an anthem. Go-Go Juice is more of a, I'm ready to just be sloppy and I'm ready to just be, you know, I just want to throw it all away and just get messed up and have a good time. House Tour is a sarcastic song. She's basically saying this song isn't about being intimate. Do you want the house tour? Knowing that the guy she's probably looking for definitely wants to see the house, which we all know what the house is. But I love how she's kind of like looking for the guy that wants to sniff around, like the dog, like that wants to sniff around and wants to know what's going on. And she's like, it's not a metaphor, but the guy knows what she's talking about. And now we're going to get to the last song, and that is Goodbye. I'm going to tell you what I wrote first. This song is the end while also being the beginning, which I like how confusing the album ends because it can go either way. This can be about the relationship she's been singing about the entire time or a new guy she gave a chance to. And so when I hear Goodbye, this is definitely a very, very clean statement that she makes. It's over. Whether she's finally accepted it, you're blocked on social media, that means you can't talk to my friends. It's over. You need to know in all the different languages, we're done. And I don't know if she's singing that to herself or also singing it with and to the guy. Why I also think that this is also sort of like the beginning too. She is like goodbye to also the immature version of what she knew love to be, whether that's strictly lust or the love that's transactional, temporary. The album at the end felt like, is that it? I was completely involved in the story.
I think there is no reason to immediately label an album as terrible or label it as the worst album from someone when you have only had one day with it. Even when you only had 1 week with it. I feel like a lot of the time with music, because let's think about how long they were taking to create that, we have to have our own journeys with this music as well as consumers. I feel like it's good to have discourse online about music, but it's kind of impossible to have that discourse with a lot of depth when we have only heard the album once through. And so before you jump to hate any album, take a moment. Put your thinking and listening hat on and let it sit there for a while.
Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you guys. Did you like the album or did you not like the album? Just let me know, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next video.